What's up, Horror Nights and family, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Crystal, and on this channel we talk about everything horror. I also have a podcast where I go a little bit more in depth into horror. Also, if you guys listen to the podcast on iTunes, make sure to leave me a review if you haven't yet. Also, for more behind the scenes content, make sure you guys are following me on all my socials. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel because I upload new videos every single Wednesday and a new podcast episode every other Monday. Also, my Patreon page is now live. It actually went live on Halloween, so it has been a little bit since I have officially made the page open. So before we get into the video, I kind of want to talk to you just a little bit about the Patreon page. So as you can see, my Patreon page has 3 exclusive tiers, each one having something maybe a little bit different than the other one, of course, except for maybe like tier 1. But if you're interested, the link to that is in the description box below. So the reason I wanted to make a Patreon page is because I have a lot of ideas in my head and I wanted to get them all out, but I didn't want to overwhelm anyone with anything. So I was like, okay, I'll make a Patreon page. And of course, I also wanted you guys to just feel a little bit closer to me. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, just check out the link in the description box below and come join the Horror Nights in Patreon family. So as you can tell from the title of this video, it's a little bit different than some of my other videos, but on this platform, I like to talk about subjects all throughout the horror world. I have touched on this topic a little bit on my podcast, but I wanted to sort of bring it over to YouTube as well. So if you don't listen to my podcast, which I don't know why you don't, but anyway, over there, I like to touch on mental health and characters within a horror film. I really like to get into why the characters do and say the things that they do. I like to sort of delve into like what happens to them after something traumatic happens. But more importantly, I want to understand why they kill. And I kind of want to make this into a series for this channel, so if you like it, give this video a thumbs up and comment down below. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Once again, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about Michael Myers. So Halloween wasn't that long ago, and I hope that you guys had a great Halloween. And if you joined me and Chucky's Side Chick live, thank you so much for doing that. But it's okay if you missed it because we're definitely planning a ton more in the future. So make sure you are following me on my socials because I put everything on there that you need to know. So I want to delve into why Michael Myers is the way he is, why he wanted to kill his sister and all of her friends, and then continue to kill his sister and all of her friends and family. Also, just a little bit of a side note here, I'm not gonna pull a Halloween 2018 and just forget that they're related, because honestly, that's kind of what I just want to continue to believe. We will get into that in a little bit. So we all know that there are 13 Halloween films from the years 1978 to 2021. And a lot of things happened in those 13 films. We got a lot of different answers as to why Michael is the way that he is. Was it neglect as a child? Was it sexual jealousy? Or was it some kind of pagan ritual? Was it as simple as his sister ignoring him because she wanted to sleep with her boyfriend and him just getting mad at her enough to kill her? We also don't find out that Laurie and Michael are siblings until the second Halloween. And in this sequel, Michael isn't motivated just by the family connection to Laurie. So if you can remember, Dr. Loomis and the police find one word written in blood: Samhain. And Samhain is actually a Celtic word, and it can mean Lord of the Dead, the end of summer, and of course, the festival of Samhain on October 31st, which Dr. Loomis does explain in Halloween 2. So now we sort of see that Michael is motivated by his desire to kill his family by some kind of pagan ritual. But I have a problem with this because it doesn't really explain how he has the compulsion to kill at the age of 6. And then of course we have the Cult of Thorn in The Curse of Michael Myers, who attempt to bind and steer Michael with magic. Rather than having any kind of internal reason to kill, Michael is a pawn of the stars with his murders literally coinciding with a constellation. But none of these explanations really enriches the character of Michael Myers. It sort of just tried to explain it, but it doesn't really add anything to the character. So as I was doing my notes for this video, I did come across an article where director John Carpenter actually regretted making Michael and Laurie related, which is why we probably saw in Halloween 2018 when it sort of just picked up from 1978. And it simply disregards that the sibling relationship was actually just a rumor. We also know that something has to motivate Michael because, of course, if you remember the scene where Michael commits the murder and puts his sister's headstone at the foot or at the head of the bed. But we still aren't sure why he does that. So Jamie Lee Curtis also made the following statement at the San Diego Comic-Con. She said, "There is nothing more terrifying in the world than a random act of violence. Laurie Strode had something happen to her that no one should ever have happen, and she just reacted in her intelligent way to save her life. Period. End of story." And the movie ends. So that's interesting too. And then of course we have Rob Zombie's interpretation of the Halloween films, where he gave us his interpretation of a backstory as Michael as a young boy before he went on his killing spree. We see that Michael had an abusive and horrible upbringing as a child. His stepfather calls him slurs and is not the best person in the world. His mother is a stripper and his sister is promiscuous. It's definitely a far cry from the Michael that we all know who had a reasonably happy upbringing as a child. It's almost as if we were rooting for this young Michael to kill off his horrible family. But you guys know that I love Rob Zombie, but in my opinion, it was a little uncomfortable to see the young Michael killing his classmates and then doing that weird, awful scream thing that he did. We have to assume that him killing his stepfather and the bully at school was just because, well, he was mad at them and then he wanted revenge. But why change gears and start killing the innocent? But we all know that it's Michael Myers' emptiness and his lack of human motive that make him so terrifying. I think we can all agree that nothing is more scary than someone who commits a murder and has absolutely no remorse, sympathy, or guilt. When this person has pretty much no motivation and they're sort of just evil to the core. I mean, we've seen it in real life serial killers like Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and John Wayne Gacy, who carried out 33 murders between the years of 1972 and 1978. And when he was on trial, he was pretty much just cracking jokes. And of course, we have Albert Fish, who's known as the Gray Man, who carried out 10 murders in New York State. None of these serial killers really had any remorse for what they did. And that's truly terrifying. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Hollywood just saw how popular the film was, so they started creating more and more things to sort of explain away why Michael did the things that he did? Do you agree that they ignored the films between 1978 and further? Do you like the fact that they are not recognizing that Laurie and Michael are siblings? Why do you think that Michael Myers kills? Let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so that you're notified every single time I upload a new video. Don't forget to follow me on my socials as well, and don't forget to check out my Patreon page. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.